El festival ja fa uns anys, sobretot perquè davant de la sala, que és el teatre que pilota aquest festival i on va començar, té una escola molt propera amb nens amb necessitats especials. Llavors, el nostre festival sempre ha tingut, i la sala, la programació durant tot l'any, una obertura molt clara per tot tipus de públic, perquè venen molt sovint. Però no obstant, creiem que, com aquest festival es fa en 12 ciutats, en 25 espais diferents, que ens volem comprometre tot l'equip a treballar més i més en la inclusió i a obrir el festival i posar les eines a l'abast perquè puguin venir tot tipus de nens amb tot tipus de necessitats. Vam estar a Noruega amb l'Eulàlia a la trobada d'ASSITEJ, no fa massa, i allà ens vam conèixer abans, però allà vam poder escoltar la presentació de la Sharon sobre el festival Safe Place. És un festival per nens i les seves famílies, nens amb trastorn d'espectre autista. Ens vam quedar molt impactades amb tot el que ells ens poden ensenyar i poden aportar. Per tant, aquí us les deixo, que us facin la seva presentació del festival i de com veuen aquest tema de la inclusió, no només com a un lloc separat on puguis donar un festival especialitzat en això, sinó com podem anar contaminant tots els equipaments i tots els festivals que es fan per infància perquè cada cop tinguin més en compte que tots aquests nens i que ells sàpiguen que són benvinguts i que trobaran el que necessiten.
Hi everyone. First of all, we want to thank you for inviting us. It's a really big deal for us that this festival is encouraging and acknowledging our work. So thank you very much.
So while I will introduce ourselves, all will give you something that is called social story. So you can see the breakdown of our lecture. We will talk and explain more about it during our talk. So hi, we are all, and I'm Sharon, and we founded the Safe Place initiative, in which the main project is our annual festival of relaxed performances for children on the autistic spectrum and other neurodiverse differences. So, in Israel, approximately 1 in 65 children are diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. In the US, it's 1 in 59. And in the UK, it's more than 1 in 90. About 1% of the world population has autism spectrum disorder.
Due to their unique needs and through no fault of their own, children on the autistic spectrum are left out of cultural activities that for most children are trivial. Children on the spectrum may feel anxiety, sensory or emotional overload from a variety of reasons that we, neurotypical, take for granted. Be the loud volume at a show, frequent lighting changes, or simply a large audience at an unfamiliar venue. All those may trigger reaction that often can be seen as noisy or violent, and that's why many families prefer to avoid the activities.
We would now like to give you a glimpse of what it feels like for an autistic child to take part in a theater show. There is no accurate way to know the level of sensibility with each child, but we will try to give a general feeling of how it may feel to be disturbed by things that may seem trivial to us, but can trigger an autistic child. So before we begin the demonstration, we would like to know, is there anyone here who might be seriously disturbed by loud noises and changing lights? You're all great. You're all okay. Okay. So we will start a short demonstration. This is only a partial reason why children that are neurodivergent need other conditions to be included in such activities.
So what exactly is a relaxed or sensory performance? Relaxed performances allow people with neurodiversity to enjoy a non-judgmental and stress-free environment where they can move or talk around as they like. The sorts of changes you might see at a relaxed performance include reduced intensity of lighting and sound, visual stories to familiarize the children with the venue and the production, a chill-out space in the lobby, and trained staff available to assist the families.
In order to perform a professional relaxed performance, it's important to use all the following elements. The artistic work. As the artistic director, when I look for a show that can be adapted, I usually choose a show that is less verbal, not too abstract in a dramaturgic way, not loud and as much sensory adaptable as can be. The social story, which you are holding in your hands. So basically, it's a visual information pamphlet and a toolkit that supplies the background of the entire show, a listing of all the scenes, a visual and literal breakdown of the characters. You have here, you see, three sorts of a visual story. A set and props in the show, and a short film of the venue. This way, the children can prepare in advance, which may lower the levels of fear and uncertainty from an unknown event. A quiet space, a closed and small space outside the venue where children can get inside while having a sensory overload and stay there until they feel safe to go back to the show.
The accessorize. These are free gadgets for the use of each family. As you can see, soundproof headphones and stress balls that can help with stress relief and sound sensitivity. We also have free communication stickers, which helping us to communicate in the best way with each child. I will translate to you. The red one says, I prefer that people will not approach me. And the green one says, I want to talk, but sometimes it's hard for me. So we know with each child if he wants to be approached or not. And the purple one is, I will be happy that you will take pictures of me.
I can wear the red sticker every day.
The volunteers and the house staff. We recruit and train a group of volunteers to assist the families during the shows. They can help with finding the way in the venue, picking up the tickets, entertaining, chasing, and helping with relaxing the children during the shows. Also, if a child needs a break, he can go out and return when he is ready. And we never expect them to be silent during the shows.
So we started our festival in 2018, our first Safe Place Festival. It was the first time this type of festival ever took place in Israel, and today it is the only annual festival in the world dedicated to theater shows for children on the autistic spectrum and other neurodivergent differences. In our festival, we have a fantastic opportunity to give children those moments of pure joy that only happen in the theater. The apparent effect on children who watch a show for the first time and may behave how they feel or how they like without judgment, glares, or social criticism is an exciting experience, not only for them, but also for their families who can finally let them enjoy such an outing. All the shows and activities that are part of our artistic program are mostly regular shows that were adapted especially for our festival and became a relaxed performance. This year, for the first time in Israel, there was also a sensory show that was made for the maximum amount of 5 children in the audience and involved a sensory element as objects the children could touch, listen, and smell. That was the show.
Since we founded the Safe Place Initiative, we received thousands of messages from families asking us to bring relaxed shows to every spot in Israel. It made us realize that some sort of dam has been breached, and we immediately got to work trying to figure out other ways to expand the scope of our activities beyond the annual festival that takes place only once a year in August. So, in the past year, we have collaborated with the 3 largest and longest-running children's shows festival in Israel, and for the first time, each festival included a slot in its program for a relaxed performance. The result was amazing. The shows were sold out, and the demand much higher than expected. This is proof, if anyone still has a doubt on the matter, that there's a whole crowd of children and families out there who only want to take part in cultural activities just like anyone else. And if only given the right opportunity, they will come.
So, of course, we did not invent relaxed performances, and we went and studied it in New York from the best professionals who make this kind of theater. And we would like to give you also a glimpse of those theaters, and I really recommend you to follow them. So around the world, there are several beautiful works from very unique theater groups. There's Oily Cart from the UK. There is Sensorium Theatre, they're from Australia. Trusty Sidekick Theatre from the US. And Bamboozle from the UK. There are a few more, but we took the best that we think that they are. We now believe that every professional festival, either in Israel or the rest of the world, that has made its mission to present the public with nothing but the best children's shows in the world, can't but incorporate a relaxed performance in its repertoire. Just as it is mandatory by law to provide physical accessibility for people with physical disabilities, so it should be with cognitive accessibility. This way, we're paving the way to a better and more inclusive future. Thank you. Shoot. Katrina.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this presentation. I think it was the most clear presentation of this, how this works. I've been listening to several times, and there's always something I don't really get it. I just thank you, and I hope that all of us who are here making festivals will note that in the next festival there should be at least one relaxed show.
We believe the same, yeah. So thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you. Yeah, there's
And,
a question here.
there's a
Sorry,
question,
you're not
yeah.
going. Still.
Okay, great.
In the beginning, you said that you are choosing shows that they say that are not too abstract. Why, actually? What dramaturgically abstract? I'm curious,
Just because we do not know the what kind of children with what kind of cognitive disabilities will come, and they cannot always understand the story or the narrative. So there can be a narrative and a story, but it's not like, you know, in the theater with the dialogues and a very complex storyboard. So this is why I choose shows that they have like a natural way towards audience with, let's say, special needs, you know, and they can be much easily adapted. But our vision and the main goal is that every independent theater creator, every theater group, they have in their repertoire a show that is made from scratch for this kind of audience, because they deserve to see theater as well. But again, like we explained here, they need their special kind of special needs for a show.
And also, most of the, at least autistic children, they need like a very, very clear narrative that they can follow with the beginning, middle, and end. Otherwise, it's sometimes hard for them to follow, and this is why we have all the social stories where you can see exactly how the plot is developing.
Thank you. You also say you had a show and they were normal shows in theater and you adapted them. So it means the theater group, they had somebody to help them with the adaptation, or what does it mean, this adaptation?
Yeah, that's what I do. That's my job. I choose, first of all, I like to choose artists that are not like actors with egos, that they are human beings and that they understand the meaning and the cause of this kind of creation. And so I see their show and I understand how it can be adapted. And I don't do artistic changes in the show. For example, all the shows have a general adaptation, such as we lower the volume, we increase the lighting. There is no darkness while the show is running. Every show, the cast, they welcome the children from outside the venue, so there are no surprises. The children know exactly before they come. They see the actors. Again, as much information that they can get before can help them feel more secure and reassured and to be more in the moment with us. And every show has their own specific adaptation. I always try to make it as sensory as can be. So sometimes maybe we need to add an element, a sensory element, so we help with that. So a show that is adapted, it's like they have two shows now, the theater group. I don't know if any one of you visited the last ASSITEJ gathering in Norway. I'm giving you an example. There is a wonderful, the Boroland Ballet from Scotland. So they actually have a show which have 3 versions. They have like the normal show for children, which it's for 40 children, more or less, in the audience. And they have the version of the adapted one, which is for 8 children. And they have the same show with a story for grown-ups. Yeah. So also part of the general adaptation is reducing the amount of audience. So it won't be too crowded.
And another thing is that sometimes we need to simplify the language, because for example, if you say the car is dead, you say it, when it's broken, you have to say the car is broken, because sometimes autistic children won't understand what does it mean that the car is dead. So you have to say it's broken. So you need to really simplify the language.
Hello. I have also a question about the family who comes around. How do they react on seeing the child maybe also responding on a very different way that they are used to? Or I can also imagine that sometimes they could be very protective from the caring point of view to the child and not opening it enough. I mean, these are things we are experiencing also with babies, that sometimes the parent is too much there to watch out. This is not going to work, because normally he can't sit down for 5 minutes. He cannot be attentive for this and this kind of work. Is it the same? And how do you cope with that? Or is this also a learning process?
So as a mother for an autistic son, most of our life we are used to be very alert and like holding him in the shirt, and so he won't run away. And so one of our main goals is, when families are coming to our festivals, is the stress-free environment where they know that the children can run away. So we have this huge volunteer staff that their mission is to chase the kids and to be with them and to go out if they need to go out during the show. So the parents, for the first time, they can just sit in the chair and see the kids running, go up on the stage, going down, it doesn't matter. And they know that they can. It's really hard because we need to educate the parents also that it's okay, you're in a safe place, and we have enough people to take care of your child. But I think that really sometimes the reaction of the parents are even more exciting for us than the kids, because you can see, and most of the reaction are that the parents are coming to us and they're saying, listen, he sat throughout all the show. It's the first time in his life. He couldn't sit for 5 minutes and he stayed in the show. And even if they stay for 5 minutes, it's okay. We don't care, as long as he's been there.
So there are a lot of tears in our festival, but it's happy tears. And a few amazing things happened that we saw, like people families. First of all, a lot of families come from like the very far south of the country or the north. So if they come to Tel Aviv, so they buy tickets for 2 shows. Now, for those children, it's a very big deal to have not only one activity, but one after the other. So it's also very exciting for us. And you have to understand that most of the children that come, it's the first time in their life that they see a theater show, because every time their parents tried to take them, people were like, why is he making so much noise? Or maybe you should take him outside. And so they gave up, they just say, okay, so I don't want to bother anyone. But also, I think one of my favorite experience is that it's a whole family experience, because a lot of families, they don't have only an autistic child. He has a brother or a sister who is neurotypical, and they want to enjoy together. So it's also very exciting.
Sí, jo volia preguntar a les nostres funcions per petits. Aquí. En castellano.
You will translate? Thank you. Yes.
Que yo quería preguntar que a nuestras funciones para bebés muy a menudo vienen escuelas o niños con diferentes tipos de diferencia, digamos. Y entonces estaba pensando si sería interesante, que muchas veces nos avisan, nos enteramos cuando estamos a punto de actuar, que han venido una escuela de educación especial o lo que sea, tener una historia de nuestro espectáculo siempre preparada para podérselas ofrecer a los niños, o cómo podemos ayudar para que estos niños gaudeixin, disfruten más del espectáculo.
I think that every child can enjoy this story. I think that every child from a young age who is coming to the theater, this can be very helpful for him. So yes, this is a very good way to help everyone to enjoy the show. But as you can see in our lecture, it's not. There's a lot of elements. So it depends. You can make the story, and that's good. It's a start, and then you can add more and more elements to help them, because it's a bunch of things, not only one. But the visual story is very, very helpful for sure.
El què? Ja. Però ja està, no? Vale. Jo pregunto no com a programadora, sinó com a artista, de la part dels que fem els espectacles, però tinc experiència que tinc una amiga amb un fill autista i la meva pregunta, i ha vingut a algun espectacle nostre, i el que ha passat és que el que volia era trencar la barrera i entrar a l'escenari. Llavors, la meva pregunta, com que entenc que es tracta de no reprimir els nens, la meva pregunta és, busqueu espectacles que aquesta barrera públic-escenari no existeixi o la puguin trencar en qualsevol moment? O també és possible un espectacle que la barrera existeixi i tenen recursos per respectar-la?
Yeah, it's working. The straight answer is yes, because every behavior is acceptable, and if we don't let them move around as they want, then it's not 100% inclusion, because we are excluding some part of the area of the show. Again, we have the volunteers which help us. We don't let them touch the props or the actors. Of course, we keep them safe as well, because they need to perform. So we really guard this. But basically, yes, they are free to roam as they want. And of course, we talk with every artist before the show. They give us their limits of how much is it possible to touch their scenery, to touch their props. And after the show, always, they are all invited to come and to touch as much as they want. Again, we really try to work with artists that are 100% open to such an activity. I really believe not every actor or actress can do this, because some shows can be really hardcore.
Also, I think most of the artists, after the show, because it was the first time that they perform in this kind of format, they always said that if they knew this is what it's going to be like, they would given more accessories or props that the children could play with. So.
Yes. Thank you for your work. And my question is, as an artist, I have been working with children that were diagnosed with autism spectrum and relationship attachment disturbs. And to me, it was very helpful to work with a team of psychiatrists, psychanalysts, persons who are specialists in autism, with profound regard and work together. What we proposed was we work together in the sense of having the theater and the playing as a resource of diagnosis of autism in children very young, which we don't know if they are or they are not. So that was the proposal. And to me, as a first experience, when we started to do this with this team, was very helpful because this kind of, autism, the spectrum is so large, so huge, that each case is a different case. And to me, it was very, very, very interesting to see that in every autism, behind that, there is a creator of a code of communication, of a new code of communication, which for an artist is creation. I remember the works of Deligny, he worked a lot in that sense. And the first time, it was a completely disaster. We were improvising with a musician, an actress. At the beginning, it was okay. And at a certain point, there was 6 children with diagnosis and a psychiatrist who was there. And they started to break everything. And the parents were there watching at us and saying, okay, now you see what we suffer every day. But at what point I felt myself in a tempest also, like I was also in a boat that was falling down in the middle of the ocean. And I started to fall down in the middle of the ocean and not able to breathe, and not able to get out, and not able to express, and not able to cry, and not able to communicate to the others that were watching what we were running, and at a certain point, these children started to help me, to tell me, I am your mother. I can take care of you. Don't worry. And I passed 1 hour after that crying, because I could have the experience to feel their suffer. And to me it was very, very important, because I couldn't be able to imagine a safe place without knowing the suffering that you have in your house when you have this life together. And so the psychiatrist helped me to say, okay, you got in, and now you have to get out. And I think for artists, if we can go close to the people that has those type of difficulties, is a source of creativity, and it's a master class, master class of living, a master class of how you can imagine of communicate to someone, or how can you imagine to communicate to the water or to elements. So to me it was very, very helpful to have this experience through these teams of professionals that helped us as artists. I don't know if it was possible to do it without them. And my question is, in the projects of the festival, you have these possibilities of collaborations. Thank you.
It was a beautiful story, really. And we collaborate with the Autism Research Center in Israel, which is the biggest one. And we work with therapists and language therapists, and there's a team of professionals that also they come to the show and they have their input, which we think about, which Sharon is at the artistic work is taking.
Yes, what Oris, I will add to it. So we consult with those professionals. We don't work with psychiatrists. Our kind of work is not a therapeutic theater. There is a very thin line, and I try not to cross it. Just like I will not cross to an educative theater, like it doesn't interest me, the pedagogical side. But part of our agenda, because we had a lot of research in the UK and in America, so we were able to have a very wide agenda. So part of this agenda is that we give the audience, which is the parents, because they choose the activities for their children, we give them the options, okay? We don't say, you can come only to this. We give them, like I explained to Isabel, there is there is a blue show, there is a red show, there is a green show, okay? The blue show, it's only for 5 children. It's very, very sensory. It's, we don't want to say it's for children with severe autism or low function. Who are we to decide what audience can come or cannot come? The second show it's a show that was adapted. It has all the elements that we use with the accessories and the volunteers. It's for 50 people in the audience, and it can be, these are the options. You are all invited. You choose, we are here, and maybe this was the red show, and the green show is very, very loud. It can be loud because some children on the autistic spectrum, on the contrary, they need the loudness and to
rock.
So we don't decide for them. We say, this is the program. These are the options. You are all invited. You choose. We are here for to consult, to give you information, to help you. But really, it's not our decision. And more importantly, it's your responsibility.
Also on the website, on each show, you can see the triggers. So if there is like splashing water, or if the actors approach in the crowd, you can see it. So if you know that your child is sensitive for that, you won't take them to the show. But we have all the information, and you decide.
For me, that aspect, when I talked to you, was a real finding, or a revealing for me. Because I understood that what is lacking is information on both sides. I mean, we need, as programmers, to know what they need and how do they live to come to the festival. And at the same time, we have to give information for them so they can decide if they want to get in and to understand. I mean, that was a real big discovery for me. It was a very recent one, a recent conversation, so we didn't get to this festival. But for the next festival, yes, we are thinking a lot in that sense. So to, first of all the team approach to the information, because it is, there's people who knows it, and all the team of the theater and the festival should be informed and know, but after all, also give that back, the information of what we do. Yeah. So thank you very much for for coming and for presenting and devoting us this time. And we will have to continue with